Hello everyone. So because I haven't done a Workbench live in a very long time, I totally forgot to turn on my microphone, but it's on now. I could see the little dial in the corner not doing anything, but it's here now. So hello everyone, I'm Matt. This is Model Minutes, and join me on the Workbench today as I effectively build and review this quick build Airfix 1/35th scale Sherman Firefly. Yep. So people are saying they couldn't hear me, and there was a perfectly good reason for that. 2026, I think the last time I did a Workbench live was a few years ago, actually. So it's nice that I've managed to find some time. And the quick build model kits are the perfect sort of topic to do, because you can do them like on a stream, which is quite nice. It's nice to spend some time hanging out with you guys. So I think we'll get into this. This isn't something that I would have typically bought myself. I did buy it, but only because it kind of came as a freebie when I bought other stuff. So if you remember, I bought a like a mystery bundle a little while ago, and some tanks came along with it. So I've got a few other tanks. I think I got like a Tiger One. Did I get something else? I think I did. I can't really remember, but this came in that sort of bundle. And I've been meaning to build it and experience it. Not really my normal cup of tea. It's more of a construction block kind of toy, but it is reasonably new. So a few facts about this is that this was released around 2024, so it's like a fairly modern tooling. It's one of the more recent quick build products, and if you wanted one of these, you would have to go onto the website, and they are recommended retail price of £19.99 here in the UK at the time I'm doing this stream. You can see that we have an age here of 6+, so these are a gateway kit really from construction block toys into actual modeling. Let's look on the box then. As you can expect from Airfix, we've got some warning information on the side and some other bits and pieces, but no tooling information. They don't seem to put that on these. I think they can sort of consider them more to be toys than anything. And then on this side here, we have some information. There's stickers included, rolling tracks, so we have some play value supposedly. Everything is pre-colored and push fit, so no glue, and there's 150 pieces or 150 parts. 1/35th Sherman Firefly, a little image there. If we go onto the back, there we go. So by the end of the build, it should be this big, which is, you know, quite a sizable model kit. This is like an exploded diagram here, showing how everything sort of goes together, and it should be, it's all sort of stylized. We have got a product code. It's J6042 if you wanted one of these, and again it just mentions the same things on there. This was designed in the UK. Some of the quick build products in the past have been made in the UK, but I imagine this might have been made in India. It didn't specifically say, from what I can tell, where it was actually manufactured. But yeah, that's where they tend to outsource everything. Thin edges just have the same information that was on the front, and there's a little hangy flap there if you're in a shop and want to hang it up. So let's have a look inside of this. As this is a live stream, of course, there will be some chat, there will be some back and forth with you guys. We've got 22 people currently watching, which is really good. Joe's in, Steve's here, Trenner's is in. What else have we got? Flippy Rock, others. Appalling Models is in. There's loads of people dropping in there. Nice to see you all. 135, that's pretty big for a sort of quick build kit. Yeah, so it's, I think this was meant to sort of correspond. I need something to open this with. This was meant to correspond with actual like kits. So if you built the 1/35th scale quick build tank, then your next thing would be to move on to a 1/35th scale like actual model kit. That's very tight. I'm going to probably end up ripping this. I don't want to rip it. That's frustrating. Come on. You'd think that I'd be better at this, since I open boxes almost weekly for content. Right, there we go. Is there stickers on this? It feels like it doesn't want to open. No, it isn't. There's no stickers. So there's no stickers on the sides holding the box together, which, if you think about it, isn't great, because if you're in the shop and someone might open it up and take bits out, there's no like security seal. We've got a bag of bits, and we've got our instructions, and we've got our stickers. So the stickers there, pre-cut, but you know, there's not many. There's only 3 of them, so that's not particularly exciting. We have our instructions, which are to the normal kind of quick build format. They are in color, which is nice. They start back to front, weirdly. So yeah, you've got to start on the inside, and we will follow these as we go through. You can see we've got little symbols telling you what to snap together and how to build things up. And then we get to the end. So I don't think it'll be too hard. We have got our placement for our stickers there, but again, it's not too complicated because there's only 3 of them. So I'm going to put them like this, probably over there, so I can see it just out of frame. And then we've got our bag of bits. Let's have a look in here, shall we? Has anyone actually built this one before? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. So, all of our bits. That's a lot, isn't it? Right, that is it. So you can actually see straight off the bat, we do have our sort of construction bits kind of loose. But actually, we also have some bits on the sprue, which is interesting. It's a bit like a model kit in this sense. So there is going to be some snipping required of parts away from the sprue. Maybe a bit of cleaning up if you needed to. Am I missing a bit? There seems to be one missing. I hope it's in the bag. So we'll have a look for that as we go. Oh, there it is. It's there. So yeah, let us start building the kit. So yeah, feel free to let me know how you guys are doing in the chat, what you're up to. I'm going to bring the chat a little bit closer to me. I work on 2 screens, and currently you guys are miles away from me. So I'm going to put you on the closer of the 2, and that can go there. So I've got everything in one place now, so you're close to me. Stefan has built many Kobe tanks. I've never experienced Kobe, but I understand that they are very similar to like Lego and other construction block. There we go. Quick Airfix Quickbuild 135th Sherman Firefly. And there's some detail on here too, which is quite nice. This is our first bit that we need, and then I need to start finding the other bits as well to start assembling it. So this is like the lower part of the chassis. Where is it? Where's the front bit? Is that it? I think that is not it. That's the back. Got to look for them by sort of shape. Not that one. Not that one. Where are you? Don't tell me I'm missing a part straight off the bat. That would be well awkward, wouldn't it? Oh, it's here. I found it. It's all right. I found it. So this, by the looks of it, goes on to there. No, because I'm holding that the wrong way around. So it goes on to there. That makes more sense. Look, so that actually fits together. Everything sort of goes in one place. It's not like your other construction blocks where you have the ability to build other things from it. That is not what I need. They have like little curly bits in. There we are. That's the one. Right, that's the right one. So it goes on there, I think. Well, yes, it does. It does go on there. There we go. So there must be a counterpart which goes on the other side, the left, which goes on like that. Oh, Monty, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That's really kind. That's definitely going to help with the paint and things that I've just bought for my next project. So thank you very much. As a side point, you do actually, if you guys wanted to become members of the Model Club, we have a Model Minutes Model Club, and you guys get early access to videos, and you get access to any free resources that I might make, and you also get things like early access to videos. So I tend to work a bit in advance so that I've got content to release on a regular basis, and that means that if you're a member of the Model Club, you can do it either on Patreon or on YouTube, that you get the opportunity to watch stuff when it comes out. And sometimes actually you might get access to things massively in advance. You might get something like a month in advance before everyone else gets to see it. All right, so now we're onto this big sort of block, which you can see has got loads of different things going on, and we need to put this thing on the end of it, which looks like it goes on like that. Yep, it does. And then that goes on like that. Oh, it's all coming together, isn't it? I hope someone's keeping a track of the time, because this would be really interesting to know how quick it takes to actually build it. I reckon if you were a kid and it was like a rainy Sunday afternoon, you would be able to just knock this out in like 20 minutes, I bet. Especially if you were particularly proficient at these kind of things. I'm a bit out of practice. Right, this is the right one. So this one goes on that side. Does it go up against it? Or is there a gap? Does it go there? I think it goes there. No, it does go up against it like that. There we go. And then the left one goes, oh, hello. Hello, a bit of flash. There's a bit of flash there. Wasn't expecting that. Where's my knife? Do I have a knife at easy access? I do have a knife over here. So there's a little bit of flash by the looks of it that shouldn't be there. Just cut that off. As a kid, I wouldn't have known what to do with that. I would have thought it was meant to be there, because why wouldn't it meant to be there? Right, that one's on. What's saying on the chat? You didn't paint yours. T Plays War Thunder didn't paint theirs. No, you could paint this if you wanted to. This would be a good gateway to trying out stuff, wouldn't it? Like, so when they introduced the quick build model kit, I wasn't a massive fan. Like, I get why they would be popular. I get why people would want them, but I never really considered them as serious model kits as such. You know, the people were saying these are starter sets, basically. These are kits that are designed to help people get into scale modeling. And my argument was, or my reasoning at the time was that they don't, well, I mean, they are to scale, but it's not necessarily modeling as such, because you're not having to work with glue, you're not having to sand seams or bond things together. You know, literally the hard work, most of the hard work is done for you. But I think since then I have come round to the idea that this is a gateway into scale modeling. It's not necessarily an introduction to scale modeling, but I would say it's a step before scale modeling, and you can come into it. But of course, actually, if you think about it, you've got something which is 1/35 scale here, and perhaps you don't want to do all of the other elements of scale modeling, the sanding, the filling, the shaving away all of the bits of flash, etc. Maybe they're too complicated. Maybe this is a bit more simple, but you want to take this and jazz it up and do painting and do weathering on it. If that is what you like as an example, then it could be a cost-effective and easy way of getting into that element. So I do see that there is a place for them. In my earlier days, I wouldn't really have rated them, but I completely understand that they could help people come into the hobby. And from where I'm sitting, if there is an opportunity for people to come into the hobby, be it through a normal starter set or through a sort of quick build like this, as long as they come into the hobby, it doesn't really matter how they get there. So yeah, I mean, my opinion has slightly changed on them. I wouldn't buy them for myself as such. Like I mentioned earlier on, this was part of a bundle, but I'm going to build it and spend some time with you guys, see how it is. Oh, LPJ's dropped in. Joe says that you loved the Sea Fury video series. Thank you very much. The Sea Fury in 1/32 scale was a bit of a challenge. It was a challenging build. A new company just come out, just released their first, well, technically it's their second, but it was their first sort of mainstream high pressure injection molded kit. And, you know, from where I'm sitting, there were a few teething problems. I don't think that's what I need. Is there another ring? There is. So yeah, a few teething problems that I spotted during my build of it, but I tried to give it a fair test, and I do hope that they take on board the things that I spotted, and undoubtedly other content creators, other reviewers have identified, because there were a few things that definitely could do with a bit of improvement in the future. But if they do, and they take those things on board, there's no reason why that company wouldn't do really well. The Sea Fury was a bit of a challenge. I don't have it available to show you at the moment because it's actually gone up into storage already because I needed the space. This is interesting. This green this green part here is a slightly different shade to the other green parts. I wonder if that's intentional. Also, why are you not going in? Is it meant to slide and then... There we go. Sort of slides in and then clips in. And then that needs to go into there. There we go. Right, cool. Right. LPJ says it was one of my best models. Yes, the Sea Fury probably was one of my best models. I invested over a month into that one. Granted, I put about 3 months into my 1/24th scale Hellcat. So I would like to think the Hellcat was my best model, but I think because the Hellcat was done about 2 years ago now, in the grand scheme of things, the Sea Fury has the benefit of the knowledge and skills that I've developed in those last 2 years. The Hellcat helped the Sea Fury be built. So yeah, making slow progress with my skills and development of them, which is nice. And seeing as I build a lot of tatty old kits, I do have a bit of an understanding on what is potentially going to make a kit good or bad. Right, this is not liking that. Why have you not gone in nice and neatly? Should you be... I don't know. Why are you not in there good? Why are you not in good? Is that not quite in the right place? It's not seated quite right. So this kit does have a bit of a... Oh yeah, it's that thing, you've got to slide it in. Oh, don't like that. Slide it in and then slide it in on the side. If a 6-year-old can do this, surely I can do this. Alright, I'm just going to try and lift that one up a little bit. Why is this side much more difficult than the other one? There we go. That's it. Yeah, you got to get that bit in. And then you can press it down. Right, that's that. Right, where are we up to? That's done, that's done. There's a back plate that goes on. Trenner says that you enjoyed my Hellcat build. Thank you very much. That was a big project. I saw it up in the attic when I put my Sea Fury into storage. It has a bit of dust on it now though, sadly. But I'm sure that'd be easy to remove. Appalling Models says it's an interesting balance of Lego-esque elements and more traditional model parts. Odd that the colours are off. It is a bit odd. There's some, like, I think this one here is a different colour to the rest of them. So maybe this came from a slightly different batch. This one particular part. Interesting. LPJ Models casually advertising that they've designed a printed version of the Sea Fury sort of wheel bay with all the wires and things. Yeah, I definitely agree that that is a better option because you had to scratch build your own wires for the Sea Fury landing gear bay, and I was not a fan. It was quite a bit of work. That took me, I think, like 3 hours per side. You have to do both sides, so it took me 6 hours. That was not necessarily the best use of my time, but LPJ has designed their own version of it, so you can have as many as you want effectively at that point. I mean, you'd only need one, but does that go on there? Where do you go? You can't go on there. Can you? Can you go on there? Oh, you can go on there. Right, good. And then you go... Is this a sliding thing? Yes, this is a slide it in kind of job. There we go. All right. Turning out okay, isn't it? We are currently at stage 6. We finished stage 6, so we can move on to stage 7. Stage 7 is where we start to concentrate on the turret. So we start, I think, moving into the smaller components. Now, do I do what a kid would do and just twist them off? Because I imagine that's what a child would do. Do you think maybe they designed it in such a way that you could just twist them off? This looks like the gun mount here, which should allow it to elevate and depress. So if I get that in the right place, that should allow me to put the gun in a minute. Some of the like joints are a little bit not quite as positive as I would like. Things get in there. They do get in there. They do work. But it's like, is it? Isn't it? So they talk about clutch. I do know a little bit about Lego. And they talk about clutch. So clutch is the ability for the building blocks to stay together. And how much sort of grip they have. And if the clutch is poor, the things fall apart. And if the clutch is too tight, you can't get them apart and rebuild other things with it. You want that nice click where the things go together. And this doesn't really have that click, which is a bit frustrating. I think this goes on here. Yeah, there we go. So that goes on like that. It's me getting messages, just ignore that. There's me little... That opens and closes, look. So, do you know what? It'd be great if they'd had like a 1/35 scale like person that you could put in here. There is two, if you can see that, there is two little what they call dimples where you could put a person on it. So they obviously thought about that, but they haven't got one. That's annoying. I wish they'd included a person. That 1/35 scale soldier to stand in the top. Now we need to put this bit on. I think that's the mantlet. I think that's what they call it. That goes into that sort of piece that we put in just now and allows the gun to go up and down. And that is the right side according to the instructions, right way up. Which means we can now come to our gun. So the Firefly was a up-weaponed version of the M4 Sherman. I'm going to use my snips actually because I want it to be mostly tidy. I don't want it to be too messy. And I may actually sand that a little bit too, just for a bit of sanity, because there's a little bit of a roughness to it. I wouldn't have done this as a kid though. I would have just twisted them off. It's interesting they've done it in two halves. You would have thought they would have molded it in a single piece, but maybe they did it in two halves so you have this like representation of the barrel being drilled out. That has reasonably good clutch. There you go. So the barrel looks like it's been drilled out, which is quite good. And then that goes in there. Which, interestingly, the way they designed it, you've got the seam running down the top, not down the side. So I don't know which would be better, but you can only put it in one way based on the sort of design. That's all right. Have we got anything else that needs to go on here? No. So this can now be added to our tank. And it's got that standard design with the little notches, which they've been using for years. So it's in there nice and solid, or if you want to take it out, you can. But that's a design that we've seen many, many times. Cool. So now I can flip over the page. There we go. Some parts are better to twist off than try to cut in your experience with F-toys. Yeah, I imagine some of them are. This grey plastic here has a slightly more rubbery feel to it, whereas the green is a little bit more, I want to say, it would probably be a little more brittle, quite dense. Barrel seams either way are barrel seams are frustrating. I think the only way you would avoid a seam on a barrel is if you 3D printed it, or if it was milled out of metal, because I think in injection molding you're going to have a seam where the two molds join together, and if you did it as one piece you're going to have a seam from where the joins are, or if you did it as two pieces you're going to have a seam because you joined two pieces together just like that. So you're going to have a seam unless you had a milled part or a 3D printed part. But the 3D printed part, obviously, you may have layer lines depending on the sort of fidelity of the printing process. If you've got a low resolution printer, it's not going to be so good. Right. We are on to running gear. we need all the left components. So they have got it on the inside, L2, L1. It doesn't seem to specify. I think they're all the same. I'm going to snip them off just for a bit of tidiness. As a child, I would have twisted them off, but, you know, I have snippers, so I'm going to use them. So this is a little bit of modelling, really, isn't it? L, 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 and the other one that fell off must have been an L. Because, yeah, that's what happens if you twist them off. This one's come off by itself, but you've got this rather untidy, like, bump on it now, which isn't great. So let me know in the chat, what are you guys working on at the moment? I have a number of projects in the works currently at this moment in time. There is some content to come in the near future. But currently I am working on a couple of bits and pieces. It's been so hot here in the UK over the last couple of days though, which means that I haven't really had the opportunity to do much work, because you know when you're suddenly just too hot to do anything. That's what I've been like. Just not had the sort of mental capacity to do anything, because I've just been sitting there sort of surviving more than anything else. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 6 wheels. 1, 2. So I think with the wheels, you may want to invest in a little bit of sandpaper, especially if this is meant to freely rotate and roll, because otherwise every time it hits that little sort of dimple as it rotates, it's going to make a little bump. So I remember years ago when I was a kid, we're going back a long time now, I had some of those Thomas the Tank Engine toys. I think they were the Ertl ones. They're probably worth some money now. But I remember there being one locomotive that I had, and the wheels did genuinely have the mold pips on them, so little burrs effectively on the wheels, and that I was never happy with that locomotive because the wheels never turned properly on the track, on the sort of Ertl track that you could get, which was frustrating because it didn't work properly. But I realise now, you know, with the power of hindsight and age, that it was from the injection moulding process, and all it needed was a little sanding down. But at the time, as a child, I didn't know any of this. So that's the power of hindsight. And actually, I get comments. There's a little bit of story there about my past. I get comments sometimes, and I had one yesterday on my starter set challenge video. Actually, I get them a lot on my starter set challenge video. So this is an old video, I think from like 2020, where I built a starter set just using what was inside the box, and I really restricted my ability to do things. So I wasn't allowed to sand things, I wasn't allowed to thin the paints down, and a lot of people took issue with that. They were like, oh well, beginners would know to do these things. And I was like, well, I didn't, and I was a beginner. I didn't have a clue. Like, why would you as a beginner get paint out of the pot and not think it was ready to use? Why would the paint that you were given not be ready to use straight out of the bottle? Like, why should I know as a child that I'm meant to thin it down? What am I meant to thin it down with? And, you know, some people go, oh, but it was in the instructions. And actually, back then, a lot of it wasn't in the instructions. It was assumed knowledge that these things would happen. Now, with the power of hindsight and the internet and magazines and things, we all have access to that information with like within 10 seconds of a Google search. But back then, you wouldn't have known. Especially if you didn't know anyone who knew these things, you'd have to go out of your way to buy magazines, or to, you know, get books, or go to a model shop and ask a question. And, you know, if you forget when you're there, like I remember making a list of like things that I wanted to buy and potentially questions for when I'd go into the model shop. And you were then relying on the person in the model shop, or someone there, having an answer for you. Like, what's the best way of getting rid of mold seams, as an example? Well, you're going to be working off of whatever that person suggested. What about if you went in 10 minutes later and there was another person there? Their way might have been better. So yeah, I limited myself to just have a bit of fun, make a bit of fun content, and some people just seem to have a bit of issue with that, which I find funny because, you know, you didn't have to watch it if you didn't want to. Right, we're now on to the, oh, is this is the drive sprocket, isn't it? This big one. This is what makes the tracks go. We need 2 of these. I can see the chat is chatting away, so I'm going to have a look at that in a sec. 35 plus all day, even at 2 a.m. for Flippy Rock. It was 33 here on Tuesday, and I think it was 30 or just about 28, 29 yesterday. We're not used to it in the UK because it comes along so quickly. You know, in some countries you can expect from certain months it's going to be warm and you get a slow build up. We went from about 15 degrees to 30 in the space of 24 hours, and it stayed hot. Fortunately today, well, yesterday it started to cool off for me, and then today it was a bit colder. It's only reached 25 today, and it should drop down to about 19 tomorrow. So things are cooling off where I am, at the very least, which is good, because yesterday, day before, I really struggled to even think, let alone do anything that I was meant to do. This does go in. There is a way. You've kind of got to find it. I think it's there. No. Where are you? Where's this? There is a... They're not different, are they? They're the same. There is, like, you twist it until it finds a point where it's going to slot together. So I've just done it. This seems to be saying it goes in this way. Go on, there we go. So that's my drive sprocket, which goes on here. It has like quite a positive click into there. And then we need the return roller, which goes at the back. Brings the tracks back around. I love the concept of these tanks with their tracks, because it's like, don't need a road, bring the road with you. And then that one goes on there. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh yes, it does. That's not a return roller, that's why. That's just a normal road wheel. These are my return rollers up here. Would help if I could spot the difference between them. Yeah, so today in my little office it's been about 23 degrees, which is not too bad. It's manageable. There we go. Look at all that. Nice. I think I just repeat that now on the other side. Monty was lucky that your dad was an experienced model maker, so they had a lot of skills and knowledge already to access. I didn't have any of that. My parents weren't into modelling. Everything I had to either learn from magazines, by asking other people, or by finding out the hard way, which was to make mistakes. So yeah, I mean, I still do make a lot of mistakes, although I do watch a lot of other tutorials and things now, and I particularly like watching the mini painting stuff, that sort of side of the hobby, bit of Warhammer and things, because I find that interesting. I quite like the idea of the lore, and I like picking up the skills and techniques that the other sort of side of things use, because why shouldn't we use them in our modelling? It makes sense to use them if they're available to us. That's what I've been doing with some of my figure painting recently, is like Zenithal highlights and stuff like that, because why not pick it up? Why not have a go? Monty's not built a Firefly in this scale. I've never done a Sherman at all in this scale. All I've done Shermans in is 176 and 172nd. I've never done a Sherman in 35th, and I probably should. It's probably like a rite of passage, perhaps, to do one. Same with a Tiger or something similar in 35th. So I will at some point. I did do a Panzer II some years ago. I would like to do more armour. I would like to have a go at more of it. I do have a lot of I do have a lot of planes in the stash, which I need to get through. I am currently working on a piece of armour at the moment, which I might talk about if I've got time at the end of this stream. So yeah, I have got stuff to do, but it tends to be in the smaller scales. And the reason why I go for smaller scales quite often is because that they are cheaper normally, not always, but usually, and they take up less space, and sometimes they take less time as well. And that's what I tend to find myself up against quite often, is time to do things. What with all my other things that I've got going on. I'm quite fortunate that I've had the chance to do this now and do a stream building this up, because normally I don't have time to do this. You just can't guarantee that you're going to get like an hour or two to sit down and just crack on with a project. And this has been staring at me from the shelf going, come on, get me built. So I'm fortunate that I've had the time to do it today. Right, that's it. I think those ones are in. Now we need to do the same with the return or drive sprockets and then the return wheels. Oh, it's got that weird thing. We've got to lock it into that sort of cylinder as well. A copper state armored car. Yes, a copper state armored car would be a fantastic project to do. I have bought the paint for it. I have got it. So LPJ's donated a copper state Lanchester, I think it is. I can see it on the shelf sort of above me, which I've got the intention of doing an unboxing on soon. I've not had a chance to get it off the shelf yet. It's sort of a little bit integral to the structure of the boxes on the shelf, so I haven't quite got it off yet, but I will. It is on my to-do list. I have bought paint for it, so there is an intention there. Now this is one of the best things about scale modeling. This sprue is empty, and I love it when a sprue is empty, because then that can go in the recycling. You feel like you're making progress when the sprue is empty. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. Right, let's merge these things together here. Find the right way. Well, that one went in well easy. Maybe the other side was just a bit difficult. Yep, there always seems to be one side that I can't do. One side goes in easy, one side doesn't. There we go. That's a bit better. Right, that goes on the front, not on the back. Do you know what? I think I may have built a Sherman wrong once and put that one on the back rather than on the front, but happens, I suppose. Happens to all of us. I won't be the first person to have done it. I doubt I'll be the last either. Right, so we've got all of that on, nice and free rolling, which means that we can turn over the page. So here it's telling us that we have a lot of tracks to do. Oh my word. There are 47 parts per track, which are on these sprues. Wow. Okay. Oh, right. I get that you can't have it freely rotate unless you do a rubber band track or you do individual links. As a kid, I would have hated this. These are a little bit more rubbery than the other ones. Yeah, I would have hated this. I probably would have given up at this point. But let's persevere. I need 47, so let's start nipping them off, I suppose. Bear with me. I'm going to get through this as quickly as I can. Trainers has got a Hobby Boss Leopard in the stash to do. I currently have in the stash, if we go vehicles rather than planes, I've got the Airfix Vintage Classics AEC Matador, I think. It's like that truck which has a gun which it tows around behind it. I have a Lanchester in 1/35, which LPJ kindly donated to the channel in an attempt to get me to build more armor, which will be fun to do. I think I'd like to get some figures to go with that and do a little scene, which would be cool. I have the Tamiya SAS Jeep in 35th scale, and do I have anything else? Oh, I've got some other things, but like I bought something that was split from a set or is incomplete. I forget what it is. I think it's like a motorcycle and rider, which I'll have to do something with soon. I do have some 3D printed tanks, which I was going to do something with. So there is stuff I've got which is non-aircraft related. I've got a model locomotive. I've got a couple of model locomotives actually. I think I've got the Revell Big Boy up in the attic, which I'd like to do. I've got a Stevenson's rocket to build. I've got a tiger. I've got a couple of tigers from Airfix in 72nd scale, which came with this. So I'll have a go at that. I don't know how many I've cut off here. I probably need like all of them on here, don't I? Probably need all of them. I don't even know how many there were. I'll just cut them all off. So yeah, Airfix. You know, if you're a parent at the moment and you want something to keep your kids busy, this is it. This is the product. Airfix have got you in mind. Summer holidays, go out, buy them a 1/35 scale quick build Sherman Firefly. They will spend hours just getting these off of the sprue. Don't give them snips. Just let them twist them off or whatever. It'll take them hours. I mean, I would say this is riveting, but fortunately I don't have to do any riveting on this this kit. All the rivets are there for me already, I would hope. Come on, snip it off. Let's check the chat. Flippy Rock is scared to do their inventory on their stash because, yeah, once you look into it and you go, oh, that's a lot. I forget what I've got in my stash sometimes. And then I open the stash up. I'm like, oh, no way. I forgot I had that. I'm so excited to do it. Or, oh, yeah, I bought that meaning to do this with it, but there's a barrier to getting it done now because I don't have the thing that I wanted to do it with. So at the moment, actually, what I've been trying to do is get stuff that prevents barriers from existing, which is like, so say for example, I've got some figures, then I go and buy the right paints that I need for them. And then that means I don't have a barrier. I can get straight in and do it. What I've just noticed actually with these sprues, so that's all me tracks on that one. I've got another set to do. But if you look, this is what like Armor Hobby do. They've got these sort of struts which support them. But I think, look, if you do this, they actually interlock and they stack. So when they're in the factory, they can stack loads of them as high as you want and it gives it nice and solid. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Didn't notice that before. That's not bad. That's a clever design. Well, that's sprue's done, so I don't need that. Right, I'm gonna have a go at building this track up first. Let's see how these go together. They should just clip. They do just clip. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8. Grade A scale modeling content that you all come here to watch. 9. 10. Right, that's 10. It's nice you guys are all chatting. They've got 44 people currently watching, which is really nice. It's nice to have so many of you able to spend some time with me. I didn't announce this stream. I didn't publicize it in any way. I just went, yeah, I'll just build it now. And I don't even know if my Discord server, did the Discord bot, can someone let me know, did the Discord bot actually send it today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I didn't ping it. So if the Discord bot just decides sometimes it does or doesn't want to tell people that I'm doing something. Like I think the other week I released a video and it didn't tell anyone until like 3 a.m. after I'd released it, almost like 12 hours later, which was kind of nuts. It just decided it just didn't want to tell anyone. Right, so that's 2. So I need another lot of 10. 10 links. I'm doing lots of 10. So to make it easier for my head. And then I need to do 4 lots of 10 and then 1 lot of 7. because otherwise I will have to count them all individually. Like I can sort of talk and do 10 at the same time, which is good. He says, and now he has lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll be my 7. So I need to do just 2 lots of 10. The bot did its job, thanks, Trenners. I'm glad that it worked. Was it like Model Minutes is live? That's what it likes to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The bot was half an hour early, of course it was. So it did its job, but it just did its job early. It's like it literally cannot make up its mind about whether it wants to do it right. Some days it's early, some days it's late. It just doesn't seem to know what it wants to do. Right, we need one more lot of 10. What am I doing? 1, 2. 3. Anyone got any questions for me? You can do a bit of Q&A if you like. Anyone got any burning questions? Obviously anything personal I'm not going to answer. But anything else, feel free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's quite a satisfying click on these ones. A bit of a squeaky sound. Alright, I think that's 10. So we got, I think that's 47 there. So let's join that together. Make a run of 47. What I'm going to do is before I add them to the model, I'm going to do the other lot as well. And then I'll lay them out and check that they are the same length. So I've not made any errors. We have got some left over. We needed to have 2 on the front. But it does mean we're going to have... So it gives you 5 extra by the looks of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is interesting. It's 3. 2. Right, we've got to put 2 on the front, apparently. Goes on there. Yeah, there's a little... It's not very positive. But it does go in those holes. Like that. Yeah. That way around. A little bit of extra protection for the crew. Interestingly, no machine gun on the hull, unlike the 72nd scale kit, which does have a machine gun. I think the starter set version has a machine gun, but the upgraded version has, well, I say upgraded, it's literally the same kit, but it comes with a second sprue. I think it has a blanking plate, but I'll have to look into that. I can't remember off the top of my head. So let's repeat the process. So, questions. Anyone got any questions? Who would win in a fight, a bear or a lion? Good question. My money would probably be on a bear, actually. So I reckon. What other questions? Would I be up for a buddy build? Always up for a buddy build. What have you got in mind? I do buddy build sometimes. I think the Spitfire was a bit of a buddy build. Ms. Modeler and Captain VFC were like, oh yeah, we're going to do pink Spitfires. And I was like, oh, I've got a pink Spitfire. So, fortunately, I think they'd already started on theirs, but because I did the Beacon Models one, which is 144th scale, and it doesn't have that many parts, and it's one colour all over. So actually, that was a pretty quick build. That was, I think I did it in 2 days, but you probably could do it in 1 day if you just wanted to crack on with it, which would be not too bad to do. Where am I up to? Are these falling off as well? Yeah, I've done those. Good fun. Trenners can confirm the non-starter set Firefly has a blanking plate. Yeah, I thought it did. which means it's a more accurate kit. I think it comes with extra bits and pieces, like a bit of extra armor or whatever as well. A bit of stowage, which is good. You can get some resin stowage. I've seen it online. I forget who manufactures it, but you can get it for that kit, if memory serves, to add even more depth to your model. What annoys me actually about the Airfix starter sets for the tanks is that the aircraft, such as the Spitfire, 109 and Mustang, they all come with the shadow stands now. Those ones, those specially designed model kits for the starter sets, they come with shadow stands, which is really good because if you want yours in a flying pose, you can have it in a flying pose. But the tanks, they don't come with anything. They don't come with crew figures. They don't come with a little diorama base. So if you think back to like the Matchbox, well, ex-Matchbox, now Revell, those are sort of perfect as starter sets because they have fairly straightforward designs, the kits aren't complicated, and they have some figures and a little display base, which is great. I did the Panzer II in the desert. Comes with a couple of figures and a little base. There are different ones though. I think there's like a Churchill bridge layer one, which has a little like half bridge it's sitting on, so you can lay its own bridge. I think there's other ones with little diorama bases as well. So they've got quite a few bits and pieces going on, and I was surprised when Airfix did their starter set for those that they gave you a pilot and a shadow stand for your plane, but they don't give you anything for your tank, which was a little disappointing. Right, that one's empty too. I haven't been to a show in a very long time. I think the DBMK launch was my last outside modelling thing, externally to the Workbench. Other than that, I've not done anything. It's difficult though, getting away, getting the time to do things, especially when you've got kids to look after. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, finding the time. I do like going to shows though, because if you go to a show, often you're going to find a good deal on something cool, something fun to have a go at. Maybe a discounted kit or a new product that you've never heard of before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. But other times it can also give you enthusiasm and motivation to do something, which I like, because you go to the model show and you might be like, oh, I'm a bit down in the dumps, I haven't got any mojo, I've got nothing I want to build. And then you go and you see what other people have created and you talk to them about it and how enthusiastic they are. And then you're like, yeah, do you know what? Actually, now I've done that, I'm really in the mood to build something, which I like. I like that bit. Yes, LPJ, we'll have to have a chat. Perhaps something we both have already, maybe, that we could do as a buddy build. Obviously, I'm sure yours would be phenomenal, and mine will be just out of the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. I have a Battlestar Galactica in the stash, actually. I do actually have a Galactica. My wife bought it for me about 10 years ago because I love BSG. And I've had it open and I've looked at it, but I haven't built it. And I probably should. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be my 7. I'll do a 7 there. Trainers is off. See you later. Thanks for dropping in. I do like doing a stream because we get to have a little bit of time to chat, a little bit of time to hang out. And you can put me on in the background, do your own modelling as well. I do that actually when I'm modelling, is I put other people's stuff on. You don't know what you might pick up passively, or you might learn a little fact about something, which is really good. So that's what I tend to do. I put other modelling channels on in the background whilst I'm modelling. Keeps the motivation going. I've never been to Telford. Telford is on my list to do. my bucket list, so to speak, which I'm sure I will do at some point. I don't know what I'm up to there. I think that's 10. It looks like 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 10. So I need to do one more lot of 10. Holy Grail kit. Don't know, actually. I don't think I have a Holy Grail kit. I would have said the Airfix Hurricane Mark IV, which I built as my first ever kit. But I managed to find a second example of it, and it's in the stash. So that would have been my Holy Grail kit, but I've got it again now. My plan, if I ever get to 100,000 subscribers and we get that YouTube play button, is to do that one again and compare it against my first ever kit. You know, like how much further have I come with my modeling since I started? What does 100,000 subs experience worth of modeling get you? We're not there yet. We need one more. That's what I would like to do, I think, with that one. I don't have a Holy Grail kit as such. There's loads of kits I would like to have, but there's not one that I go, yeah, that's it. That's like my dream kit. Maybe one day I will have one. I think back in when the Hellcat was announced, the Airfix one, that was probably my Grail kit, but I got one. I was so grateful to all the people who helped donate because I crowdfunded that one. I know it was only 120 quid, but you know, when you don't make much money off of YouTube, 120 pounds is a lot. So I'm really grateful to everyone who contributed to that, to allow me to build it and share my experience, which was really good. And I know it took a bit of a while, took a few years to get around to it, but that's life sometimes. But I did get there, so I'm very grateful to everybody who contributed and donated. But I probably wouldn't do crowdfunding again. Whilst it's very generous of people, I didn't want to put them out, so I probably won't crowdfund again. But if you'd like to support the channel, like I said earlier, the model club is a good way to go, and you get something back for that. Or you could buy some merch, or you could, which way around do these go? My modelling books is another good option because that's a physical product. I don't get much from each sale, but I do get some. I think it goes this way, so it's saying the little sticky outy clippy bit goes this way. So let's see, how is it best to sort of slot it in, or do I have to roll it through? Might have to roll it through. Look, you have to feed it by the looks of it, because you've got to get the sort of guides either side of everything. Oh, that's a bit fiddly. Not terrible, but a little bit fiddly. Oh, it actually locks into the sort of, there's little teethy bits inside of the coggy bit there. That's cool, isn't it? Right, oh, I've just knocked something off. Oh, it's all falling apart. Right, get back on there. Right, put that back on. There we go. Right, can I clip this? No, go back. Right, can I clip this together? You can. That seems a bit loose. Is it meant to be that loose? That's very loose. Definitely put 47 on. Maybe that's meant to be like for running on the carpet for kids. I think that's a little bit loose. I think maybe taking a link out might be a good option. So that takes us down to 46. Oh, that's very tight now. One link makes it taking one link out makes it more realistic to look at, maybe, but it makes it very tight. Yeah, no, you've got to have it at 47. You've got to have it at 47 if you want it to rotate. That's annoying. It's ever so slightly loose at this point. Yeah, it doesn't really work on the workbench. Right, we'll do the other side. I've knocked the front ones off. Look, these are very loose on there. They don't really like going in there. You might want to put a bit of glue on them ones. I did, yeah, so I did that. I did take a link up, but it just didn't seem to be quite right. Now that goes, it sticks forward, doesn't it? So we've got to go around the back again and feed it through. Did you guys hear that Riat has been cancelled this year? I only went to Riat once, many years ago. I think it was 2007. I had a nice time. It was all right. Come on. There we go. There it is. That's on. Not great. It probably would work a lot better on carpet, I think. And that's fun, isn't it? That's fun. If you're a kid, you're going to get hours of play out of that on the floor. I think they got that about right. It doesn't look terrible when it's sitting on the tracks. Like if I just do that, it doesn't look terrible when it's sitting on the tracks. There's play value there, isn't there? There's play value. And you've got the turret which turns and goes up and down. So you've got that play value there. I haven't quite finished yet though. I'm missing a few bits. We have a shovel. The shovel is already loose. The shovel goes on the side here. Like that. Is that right? Is that the right way around? No, it's not the right way around. That's why it doesn't fit. It goes on that way around, like that. Just press it into those holes. And then we have, what are these? Ammo boxes? They look like ammo boxes. A little bit more rubbery. This plastic, this grey plastic. And a fuel can. These go onto this sort of bracket thing, which goes that way, I think. The fuel can goes in the middle. You can see there's a hole in the back, so you can only put it one way. And then the ammo tins are the same. They've got a hole in, so you have to only put them in one way. That's a little bit annoying. Like, what if you wanted to use these for something else? But it is what it is. And then that has some mounting points here, which goes just on the front. It's pressed in. And that is the build complete. But we need to do stickers. Stickers is the next thing. What's my lighting setup for recording? So currently I'm using a Green Stuff World Light Arch, I think it is. Yep, Green Stuff World Light Arch. It's okay, it works, it does the job. My one, I got the streaming kit as well. It's like got a little clamp and stuff that goes on it. It hooks onto the light arch. The only thing I would say is that I was previously using my own homemade light arch, but it's become a bit worn over time. The way I designed my previous light arch was that it went in two arches like this, so they crossed over like a big X, and I could vary the intensity of the light, which was really good, and the shadows would go away really nicely. But that one's pretty much, because I've moved around quite a bit, that one's become a bit tatty and not usable. So I went for this new Green Stuff World Light Arch, which works really nicely. But I mean, you've got a workspace. I think my cutting mat is A2 size. It doesn't say if it is A2 on it, but I think it is A2 size. It goes up to 42 centimeters in one direction and like 56 in the other. So I think it's A2. But for doing bigger projects, it's a bit low. Like, you could, if you're leaning forwards, you could bump your head on it. And also, because it's only one arch, you do get shadows in the other directions. I find it works fine. I haven't bothered to change it to anything else. I think in the future, if I were to redesign my room, because I'm working in very limited space, I only have a box room to work in, which is frustrating at best of times. But I'm sort of limited with how things are. But if I manage to rejig things, I do actually have some like proper diffused lights which are positionable, and I probably would go for something like that. My camera is on its own boom arm, so there's the camera. It's on its own boom arm, and that comes backwards and forwards and up and down, and you can position it for your filming. I have another one which is pointing at the spray booth as well, so I can do the same thing over there. For streaming and for unboxings, I have a camera attached to the light arch. But when I do something bigger, I have to find something to lift the light arch up with because it's not high enough. So yeah, sort of swings and roundabouts with the lighting and filming setup at the moment. It's all stuff that I've managed to purchase due to the income from the channel, but it has taken a long time to get the income from the channel to buy these things because they're not cheap. These things are not cheap to get. So as and when the channel has paid enough money to get something new, that's when I have got it. Right, so we have a little star which goes on the back there, and it has a little cutout just to go around that sort of thing. And then we have our sort of registration number which goes on the side. So now these would be, it would be nice actually if Airfix had included decals as well. I know Bandai includes decals for their kits. They include stickers or decals depending on what you want. Yeah, they do fit, but you just got to get them in the right place, otherwise they don't fit. And be careful you don't put your fingerprint underneath it. That'll show up. But yeah, I think decals would have been really cool because then you could have, if you wanted to, you could have gone a step further and you could have painted it, couldn't you? Picked out the different details. That's an idea for a video, isn't it? Can you go from like a toy to a scale model? I think I'd have to fill stuff to hide the gaps, but that is a video idea. Paint on. What you could do is potentially cut out these and stick them on, or scan them into a computer and Cricut them maybe and make stencils so that you have a mask to do your own printing. The only thing I've noticed now since I've been sticking these stickers on is that because I've scratched them ever so slightly with my tweezers, you can see the scratches on the ink. That ink is easy to scratch off. That's a bit annoying. If you can see that, I'll get a bit closer. Just like here, where I've inadvertently scratched it, you can see it's taken some of the ink away with it, which is a bit of a shame, but maybe it's a bit of weathering, isn't it? And that's it, I think. That's the kit built. So stop the clock. That's just over an hour. So for a kid, maybe a 6-year-old, you'd probably get a couple of hours out of that, I would say. I've done that quite quickly. Got some spare tracks left over. Bit of armour. Drill a couple of holes and stick it around the side. You probably could. That's an oversight, I reckon. They should have put some little holes in here, and you could have put a couple on that side and a couple on the other side as extra armour. You've got your hatch that lifts open up. You've got some little mounts in there for a little figure, which is pretty cool. They don't tell you that, but I'm pretty sure that's what that would be for. I don't have any figures here to test it with, but that's pretty cool. You've got your extra details. Annoyingly, actually, you can see the back of the fuel tank, the fuel can, and you can see that it's hollow. I don't like that. I think they should have just made it solid all the way through. That would have made it look a lot better. Tracks do feel a bit loose, but you know, for a child on the carpet, I don't think there was any other way of doing it. It does work. Maybe not the smoothest, but it's all right. Quick build 135 Sherman. There's even detail on the bottom. Detail is okay. I'd say the level of detail is comparable to the 1/72 scale kit, but it's obviously not as like refined as an actual 1/35 scale kit would be. Everything's a little bit chunky. Everything's a little bit over scale, perhaps, for a little bit of functionality. But I do like it. It's all right. It's all right, isn't it? And if this is your first introduction to 1/35 scale, maybe you'd go, do you know what? I was happy with that, but I would like to have a go at an actual 1/35 scale tank. But that is pretty much it. That rounds up our quick build. Not a bad little project. I got about an hour of enjoyment out of it. Obviously, if you were younger or more new to this, you could get more. 2024 was the release of this, which, you know, it's okay. It's got a nice level of detail and things. £19.99 for this kit over on the Airfix website at the moment. Does this hold that value to you? If you let me know in the live chat, would you pay £19.99 for this, or would you be looking to spend a little bit less? Granted, for my just over an hour of, you know, doing this, I don't necessarily think the £19.99 was quite worth it, but for a child, you would then go on to play with it, and you're going to get more time and more value out of it as you go along. Ace's Scale Modeling says, thanks for lighting info, no worries. A surprisingly involved little build, to be fair, says Appalling Models. You're having a little chat there. You don't think it's worth the £19.99. These are a little bit subjective, aren't they? The prices, they're not. They're sort of personal. I wouldn't have bought it myself. I wouldn't have bought this myself if it hadn't come in a like a free bundle with other things. And technically, I did pay it, but it was free. So it's better value that way. But for a child, if this was like a Christmas present or whatever, I think they'd be really happy with it. I think they'd like the play features. But as someone who builds scale models, obviously it's not quite there. Like if you compare it to, I've got my Stuart up here. So this is my it's Academy / Airfix. So I think it's Academy's tooling, but Airfix reboxed it, and you can see undoubtedly that the Stuart has considerably more detail. The finish is better, naturally, because I painted it. I've got a couple of figures on there. Stay tuned. I've got a video about the figures coming out in the near future. This did have a single link and length tracks, whatever they're called, single link tracks, but I actually only went for the rubber band because in the end I couldn't be bothered with single link tracks. It does have an interior as well. So I don't remember how much this was. This might be about 30 quid actually. This might be a bit more, but you are gonna get like weeks, potentially weeks of build enjoyment out of this kit rather than the hour that I got out of that. But again, it comes down to personal preference, doesn't it? Which one would you more likely want to do? If I decided now to go ahead and build this into a kit, build this into a detailed model, that could take hours, that could take weeks. I've got to fill in, I think I've got to fill this bit in here, some seams and things I've got to fill in, paint everything, detail it, elements, weathering. That could be an interesting project. What do you reckon? Let me know in the chat if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing, taking this from a toy to a model as such. Could it be a good starting point? Could it be a good idea for a beginner to do? Take their quick build and turn it more into a scale model. Practice out your techniques on it. That'd be interesting. Appalling Models says they'd look for an old Tamiya kit for 20 quid. Yeah, no, I agree. Tamiya kits, like the Panzer II that I did, that's like 15 quid, and it comes with figures as well. So that one was really pleasant to do. That's a good sort of beginner topic. A bit too pricey, Flippy Rock says. Jin Air Cannon says, wow, a real quick build model. Yep, this is the real deal. Is the plastic used for this kit the same as their normal plastic with more Lego-like? It's similar. Each shade of plastic that I've built here has a slightly different feel to it. I am under the impression that different pigments can affect, to a certain degree, the properties that plastic has. So The black here is fairly dense, but has a slightly rubbery, ever so slightly. It's not like the old vinyl rubber tires. It's not like that, but it has a slight rubbery texture to it. The grey plastic here is similar to the black, perhaps a little softer. The green is denser and maybe a little brittle. So when I was sanding the green just now, it was making little fine dust particles. So they all have slightly different feelings. It's close. I would say it's very close to the sort of green. The green plastic here, I think, is the same green plastic they use in their Sherman starter sets. I think it's the same blend. But I don't think the black or the grey is anything that they use in model kits. This one I think is. I think this is polystyrene. I think they're all polystyrene, but these two, the grey and the black, are not what we would see kits made out of. The green, I think, is the same. There's a sink mark actually in my little barrel. That's annoying. Favorite Sherman? Probably this one, Firefly. Glenn says, great post, hope it continues. Thank you. I would like to do more quick build type related content in the future, or even just more streams when I get the chance to. Would anyone like to know what I'm currently working on, or shall I wrap up the stream here? Oh, someone's got a question. 97 has a question. You want to get the Willis MB gift set and would like to know if the Humbrol paints included can be saved with thinner, or should I just get separate paint? So now here's the thing with the Humbrol paints. If they come in a little flappy box, little flappy pot like this, they're normally okay. If they come in a pot like this, they will probably be dried out. The reason why, they're slightly different designs. These pots are good. They're fine. They do their job. They do exactly what they're meant to do, and they seal the pot completely. These ones do not. This one has a ever so slight air gap. So when you close the lid, and if you look carefully at your own examples, because it probably won't show up on camera, but when you close the lid and push it down, it compresses the air inside, which then, because it's compressed, forces the lid open ever so slightly. There's an ever so slight gap. It's almost invisible, but there is an ever so slight gap there. And that is what causes them to dry out over time. So typically the ones in these pots, without the little flappy bit, are going to be dried out. You do have two choices. You could try and repair or save the paint. In this case, this sort of pale blue, it is on its way out. You can see that it's starting to dry out already. At this point, where I can give it a bit of a mix, it's like a gel now. I can save that. I could save that with water. In fact, I have some water. It's not particularly clean water, but I have some water here. It's just brush water. I'm not going to use this paint, so I'm going to just put some water in, and then I'm going to revive it with that. And you can see it's coming back to life already. Just add a little bit of water as you go, improve it, and if it's not wet enough, add a little bit more, but just add a drop at a time and give it a thorough mix all the way through. However, if you have thinner, you can repeat that with thinner, and the thinner might give you slightly better results than using just water. But it's not foolproof. It might not work. If it's not going to work, if it's completely dry, no amount of water or thinner will save it, because effectively at that point it's cured. It has done the job that paint is supposed to do. It's turned into a solid mass. If I remember correctly, it's like a resin, acrylic resin. So it's gone hard, it's gone solid. You're not bringing that back. So what you would have to do is contact Airfix with pictures. You need the code on the back of the box. I've got one here, a box that I can show you. So this is a Tiger starter set. Here you need that, and you need to contact their spares department. So you'd need to either take a picture of that or write that in your email, contact their spares department, tell them you have this kit, send them a picture of your pots that aren't working, and get them to send you some replacements. I have heard that they do just sometimes just send out the little pots like this. So again, it's a bit hit and miss as to whether you're going to get decent paints or not, because they probably won't even check them before they send them out. But I have heard some people have got the full bottles, the, I don't know what they call, 12 mils, as a almost like it's compensation. I think like something like that sort of size. I think they're on to Gen 3 actually now, so Gen 2 is going out. Gen 3 is coming in. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. You could try and fix it, but the likelihood is if it's too far gone, it's not going to be savable. What do I think of Italeri's starter set of Amamig paint pens? Not seen it. Not seen them. Might have to look into them. Paint pens, interesting. Go on, Matt, a sneak peek will be nice. Okay, so I am currently working on 3 projects simultaneously. I'm trying something new. I used to just do one project at a time, but I was kind of getting a bit bored. So I've decided to mix things up. Current project is this. This is the Frog Sea Venom. I've started work on this. It's a bit clunky. It's a bit tatty. It comes with a display stand, so I'm going to stick a display stand in the bottom. I'm at the painting stage. I primed it. I primed it black on the top, and then I ran out of black paint. So I've had to spray it grey on the bottom. So that's my Sea Venom. This is its current state. Give me a couple of months and I'm sure you'll see a video on it. The benefit of the Sea Venom is that I can use the exact same paints that I used on the Sea Fury, because it's the same paint scheme. I also have the World War One tank in progress. This is the Vintage Classics Airfix kit. This has rubber band tracks. In theory, they're meant to rotate, but they're not going to on my kit. I've decided they aren't. Well, they're kind of a bit stuck now, but the guns are supposed to pivot and move, but mine are not doing that. Not really. A bit optimistic there, I think. I'm doing this one as a back to basics build, so I'm going to hand paint the camouflage on this when I get around to that, but that's its current stage. It's at the painting point now. And one more project that I'm working on is because I've done the Spitfire from Beacon Models this year, I thought I would do a companion for it and do their 109. So that's at the primed stage as well. You see, I did have enough black paint to do this one. I'm doing this one in the Spanish Civil War scheme, I think. So it's like a light grey and a light blue. Light grey on the top, light blue on the bottom. So yeah, that's my plans for that one. So those are my current works in progress. I do have another project work in progress, but that's a slow project which will take me a long time to do. So you'll see more on that in the future as and when I finally get around to that one being done. But that's no rush. That's literally just a little bit here, a little bit there, and eventually it'll be done. That two-tone kind of cool. Yeah, no, it looks pretty cool. It's almost like zenithal highlighting on this one. So you've got your grey on the bottom, black on the top. It's pretty cool. It's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad, does it? That would be a cool idea for a paint scheme, actually. Picking 2 contrasting colours, doing your own custom paint scheme and maybe doing them like that. Because that would be interesting. Literally just letting the paint land where it lands and then putting transfers or whatever on. That would be an interesting project. That is the male tank. That is, yeah. So the female tank comes with machine guns, and there is that one has been available, but I haven't got it here. Would I recommend the Beacon Models kits? Yes, I would. The details are maybe a little bit chunkier than you would expect, but in this scale, I think it's a good compromise, especially if you hand paint them, because those details are going to get filled in a little bit. They're relatively simple to build. The fit is good. A little bit of flash in a few places, but for the most part, pretty decent. Canopy masks you can buy as an extra, or in some of the kits they actually come in, but you need to check. If they come in a bag, they call it the hanger editions. They don't come with masks, but I think the ones that come in boxes do come with masks. But do check the description just to make sure I'm not giving you false information. But they are decent kits. They only have the Spitfire and the 109 at the moment, but the Spitfire and 109 all have different variants built into it. So this is the E1 version without cannons. That kit, the kit is designed with that option in it. You get bombs and things which you can put underneath if you wanted. The Spitfire comes with 2 different wing types, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2B. So there are different versions of it out there. There are loads of different choices, basically. And there are other options. Have a look on their website. They're not expensive. They're about a tenner. Masks are about £2.50, but you get 2 sets of masks in the bag. So yeah, they're pretty decent little builds. Don't take too long. You could build this to this point in like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So yeah, I would recommend taking a look at any of my videos on them if you want to know more. They have got design work for beacon models going on at the moment for their next releases, but because, you know, it takes time, watch this space, I suppose. Will there be a new poll? So the last poll I did was for the Gladiator. The Gladiator hasn't started yet. That's what everyone picked, but I am preparing to do it. So I've bought some things for it, like masks and things. So I'm going to get to the Gladiator soon. 97 says, thanks. Your videos have made you really excited to get into model kits soon. Well, I hope you enjoy. I think Airfix can ship spares outside of the UK. But then, you know, if you can't get a spare part, or your paints, for example, like if it was me and this paint was dry, I'd probably just like get a different brand of paint. You don't have to use Humbrol. You can buy whatever. This is like a pale blue, so I would just find there's like a conversion chart online. You can just find a conversion chart and pick that, whatever's suitable. When the dogfight bundle comes back in stock, might get that one. That's a good idea. Hopefully someone will bring the beacon kits down into Thailand. That would be good. And that, I think, is pretty much it. There was someone dropped in a special YMPL, you're member for a whole month. Good job, well done. When you are a member and you come into the chat, you get the little like notifications and you get little wheels that come up next to it, sort of rank wheels that come on. You're working on a clipped wing Spitfire. I haven't done a clipped wing Spitfire in a while, but I will get to it eventually. I think, where do I buy them? I just buy them off their website. I buy the beacon model kits just off the beaconmodels.co.uk or .com website. That's where I get them from. That, I think, brings us to the end of that. Should we do a quick summary? So, have I got much... Last question. This is the last question. Have you got much experience with photo etch? I have some experience with photo etch. Check out my Sea Fury build just recently. That has the most photo etch I've done in a while. I have done photo etch in other builds previously, and I have some kits with photo etch to do in the future. It's not the easiest thing to do. The reason why photo etch exists is because it gives you mostly scale accurate parts for things which need structural strength. But as time progresses and more scale, like injection molding, becomes finer and 3D printing is becoming more prevalent, photo etch may not necessarily be the solution that it once was. So just watch this space. More kits might have more 3D printed parts rather than photo etch. But photo etch is relatively easy for a manufacturer to include because they are thin pieces of metal. You can create them relatively easily once you've got your sort of design work and your production method set up. And because they're so thin and light, they don't really cost anything in shipping. So it might not be a massive expense for a company to include them. Right, so let's wrap this one up. This is the 135 scale Quickbuild Sherman Firefly from Airfix. Retails for $19.99 and is a 2024 product release. I've had this one in the stash, which I've been meaning to do since I bought a bundle last year, and it was kind of free in that bundle. I didn't think it was too bad. There are some little bits and pieces about this. If it was a toy, I think it would be fantastic. Kids would enjoy it. They wouldn't necessarily see the little problems that I've had with it. I do like the play value elements, and I think that it would be fun to potentially upgrade this and see if we can turn it into a proper model. But yeah, we'll have to watch this space, I guess, because so many projects, so little time. It's not a bad product. Maybe it's a little bit of expensive, but I'm sure you must be able to find this cheaper in different shops and things online. But I imagine for a kid, 20 quid, this would be good value because they'd get so much fun and play and enjoyment. I think is there a tiger as well? I think there's another one to go with it. They used to put a list of other products, but they haven't put it on this one. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining me for this Workbench Live. I would like to do some more in the future, so let me know in the comments or in the Discord server which ones you'd like me to do. As always, quick shout out to the Model Club members. Unfortunately, due to a lack of time, I haven't got the ability to put you on the screen here, but you know who you are. Thanks to my Model Club members for the extra support you guys give the channel, allowing me to create consistent content, which is always greatly appreciated. And if you're not a Model Club member, do pop into the description box and take a look at the links down there so that you can potentially join if you'd like to do so. Of course, if you're new and this is the first time you've been here, subscribing is the best way to support the channel for free. Other than that, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I will see you on the workbench again next time.